5 questions your green dashboard can't answer. A few weeks ago, I thought I had finally reached the milestone every founder hoped for. My fraud decision engine successfully processed about 300,000 real transactions. Nothing crashed, nothing was dropped. Every CI check was green. Every dashboard looked healthy. I remember thinking, finally, it's working. I was wrong. Early this year, I built the MVP of a fraud decision engine using AI coding assistance. Progress was incredibly fast. Every week, the system became more capable. Cross-model code reviews, thousands of automated tests, green CI pipelines. Everything suggested I was moving in the right direction. Then I hit the same wall that almost every fraud system startup eventually hits: data. Real banking transactions data isn't something an early stage startup could simply buy. Synthetic data helped me build the product, but synthetic data is usually too polite. It behaves exactly the way you expect. Real systems don't. So I started looking for something different, something that was real, massive, and public. I found it in blockchain transaction data. Bitcoin, Israel, hundreds of thousands of real transactions that anyone can analyze, not as a replacement for banking data, but as a way to stress test my engineering assumptions. The replay finished. Everything looked perfect. 0 drop events. Every health check was green. I was ready to celebrate. Then I opened the result. At first, nothing looked unusual. Then I noticed something. Almost every transaction received essentially the same decision. Not because the engine crashed, not because the replay failed. The system was doing exactly what it had been designed to do, and suddenly I realized something. My tests were not telling me the system was correct. They were telling me the system agreed with itself. I thought I was validating reality. In fact, I was validating my own assumptions. My tests agreed with my code. My code agreed with my documentation. My documentation agreed with itself. None of that guaranteed any of it agreed with reality. That was a humbling moment. Digging deeper uncovered problems I never expected. Some rules could never fail. Signals were being consumed without anyone verifying where they come from. Some tests could only pass. They couldn't actually prove failure. And some numbers looked perfectly reasonable until I traced where they were actually generated. Every gate in my development process asked one question: did it run? Almost none asked the more important question: is it actually correct? Since that experience, I ask every system 5 simple questions. First, did the checks that protect me actually run? Second, can the tests fail for the right reason? Third, can every rule actually fail? Fourth, does every signal my decision depends on really exist? Finally, do the numbers I see actually mean what I think they mean? One lesson surprised me. Uniform results are suspicious, but diversity alone isn't evidence either. That rules leave no fingerprint in your averages. This turned out to be much more than the lessons about fraud detection. It's become a lesson about AI-assisted software engineering. AI has dramatically reduced the cost of generating software. It has not reduced the cost of proving software is correct. Today, I believe the bottleneck is no longer code generation. It's verification, because confidence is not evidence. Only evidence is evidence. If you ever had that moment when your tests turn out to measure agreement instead of correctness, I'd genuinely love to hear your story. I'm David Wang. Stop fraud before it moves.